Uncovering America, reporting live. I got my moderator with me today. Go ahead, introduce yourself. Did you introduce yourself? Silent. What's your name anyway? Your moderator name?
I'm Sleep.
Oh, I'm Sleep. No, that's your channel name.
That's my moderator. That's my name too.
Alright. I'm Sleep. I know y'all see him in the comments. I'm Sleep. Alright, go ahead, introduce yourself. This is my assistant for the day.
My name is Jaden.
J Money.
Yep.
What they call you?
J Money.
J Money. Alright, tell them smash that like button. We finna do some interviews.
Smash that like button and just punch it. And also, make sure you subscribe.
Alright. Let's get this thing on a tripod. We got the microphone out here today. Alright, we got kicked out of one city. Hopefully they don't kick us out of this one. Alright. Let's go in here like this. Go ahead and sit it up right.
This guy's looking real sus in front of us in the truck.
Gotta turn the camera around. Hold on. Y'all, what's going on?
I have my calculator.
Let me get this adjusted. Okay, I think we're good to go. Go ahead and check your angles and stuff on there. You got it bent right.
My phone ain't gonna fall off of this, is it?
No. You should be able to.
If they say no recording in here, just say this is a PS4.
Should be able to turn it around.
It's that way now.
Okay. Alright, come on, let's catch up to the deputy chief. Let's go. Keep that camera still. Keep it focused.
Okay, you got it on this, did he turn the chat off? Good afternoon, like button smashed.
Excellent. About what?
You a resident of Roseville?
Sure, yeah,
Okay, well, we just doing interviews, man, just on, the channel is called Uncovering America.
Okay.
So, you know, we're going to have simple questions like, what's your name, what city you from,
Awesome.
and then your relationship with the police department and other, like, city officials and different stuff like that.
Okay.
Okay?
Awesome, yeah.
And just answer truthfully, you know what I'm saying?
Of course.
We're not looking for a certain answer.
Yeah.
Using this or this?
I wanted to sit it on a tripod, but
It's not gonna work.
I guess
like
you
that.
can hold it if you want to. Just hold it. Okay. All right. All right. So, we outside Roseville Police Department, and we got a good man with us today. He volunteered to do an interview. Go ahead, give him your name, man.
Evan Hightucker.
Can you hear him pretty good?
Yeah.
Come a little closer. Can you see him?
Yeah.
Okay. You said Evan?
Yep.
Evan, nice to meet you, Evan.
Hi.
I'm Ossie. This J Money. And
This J Money.
I'm Sleep. All right. So we out here getting it done today. Now, the reason I came here is because this specific police department violated my rights back in 2019.
Okay.
So I go out and I just come direct with people. You know what I'm
course.
saying? What's your relationship with? How long you been a resident of Roseville?
I've been a resident in Roseville since 2017.
2017?
Yeah.
Okay, so you got a couple years in.
Of course.
Okay. And have you ever had any, I would say, good encounters, bad encounters, but specifically to you? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
There's something
yeah.
that you ran into.
I personally have any, I wouldn't generalize it as good or bad encounters. I have had to call the police but in my personal opinion, I could have survived even without having to call them. It's not like
Okay.
they were really anything to help me specifically.
You just called just in case.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
no, like I called because of certain situations, but they didn't seem as though like they wanted to help me take everything down immediately. They kind of were just there to be there, and then they left.
Okay. And now what time of day was that? You know,
That
because
was-
sometimes they'd be like in the middle of the night, they'd be ready.
Yep.
What time of day you think that was?
I've had several encounters. I've had one in the middle of the night, just like you said, and then I've had
Okay.
one actually, which is I am here a few days ago. That was 6 p.m. and they
Okay.
were there for about 5 minutes or so, and then they just left without even giving me any type of report at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember the officer's name? Do you?
No,
So, for example, like when I get in contact, I'll always say ID and badge, and, you know,
Yep.
just to create a record because anything is possible, right?
Yeah, of course.
So you always want to get name and badge number, you know, first off, and I always say it's super critical that you always record.
Yep.
Sometimes you'll get people that'll call the police and they'll come and arrest the person that actually called,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I'm the one that need help.
Yeah.
Now, so you said they didn't do much investigation.
As
you-
far
did
as
you
I'm
follow up
concerned,
on it?
yeah. That's actually why I'm here right now. Yeah.
Okay.
And it turns out I need to file a PPO because
Okay.
with my apartment complex, it's been a year of just trouble, and I'm just trying to move, and it seems
Okay.
as though the only way for me to move now, because my girlfriend and I are just being threatened, like, it's almost every single week.
Okay.
To the point to where it's like it's not even worth it to call them because they're not going to help even de-escalate the situation at all. And
Okay.
he lives right above me, so it's not like I don't.
Wow.
Like, I have to try to avoid him. Yet he's my neighbor.
Hey, neighbors can get dangerous.
They can.
Neighbors
Yes, they
can get
can.
dangerous.
Yes.
And so, how many times would you say you had to call them out on this one neighbor,
Twice.
and you think they handled it poorly, just with this situation?
Handled it poorly would be just the last time. The first time they came out, it was for someone else's safety in regards to that. But
Okay.
when I look into that, like they were there, they checked it, and then they left. Like that's all they did. They didn't really feel as though someone was in danger when
Okay.
you have someone screaming for,
Oh, yeah.
for help.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's
And I'll go ahead and put this little experience out just to let you know. It's critical on their response time, right?
oh yes.
If you
of course.
saying something is seriously finna happen to you or might happen, you want somebody there like this.
Yeah.
And that's
They
why.
got there fast. They
Okay.
were there probably within 45 seconds or so because I only live like a mile away. So
from the police station.
they
Okay.
they
That's reasonable.
literally came in. They took my info. They said, "What did you hear?" They investigated for literally 10 seconds. And
10 seconds.
yeah, like I'm not exaggerating at all. They
Uh-huh.
looked upstairs and then they walked out.
Now, what if I could show you what? And this is my biggest thing. I'm sure you heard of the saying. It's not about what you know. It's about what you can prove.
Yep.
Right.
Exactly.
So anything could happen with your neighbor,
Yep.
but if you can't prove it, you in a sticky situation.
No, of course.
So,
yep. That's why I've
Just
had
like
to go
everybody
through-
else,
Yep.
I encourage you when you leave here. Any tension, you always record. Be quick on your camera and trust
Yep.
me.
See,
You'll thank me later.
I was in a situation literally like 3 days ago before I called them, and
Okay.
my instinct was to record immediately, and
Okay.
I ended up taking a picture because I was so like shaken and just
Instead of
trying to be
hitting-
aware
you
of
hit the
what's
wrong
going
button.
on. Yeah, I was just I was like, oh, I took a picture.
Hey, that's a start.
It's
At
a
least,
start.
at least you got to start. So let
Yep.
me ask you this: what would you do if you were, let's say you were part of the force, right?
Okay.
Now that's a stretch, right?
Yeah,
But this is going into accountability
of course.
because, just like you said, they came, they investigated for 10 seconds. That's it. Nobody's going to feel like they're being serious.
Yeah.
But when they came to investigate, when somebody complained about me, they didn't give me 10 seconds.
Yeah.
They just went straight hands on. Snatched my phone out my hand, took me
Wow.
straight to jail,
I've had
took
to
me
deal with
outside the
that.
courthouse, shook me up a little bit, gave me the baby shaking baby syndrome,
Yep.
and then they took me to jail. And now, Chief Berlin, the heavyset guy that just walked in,
Yeah.
I came to him, tried to show him video and everything, and he, he seen certain portions or whatever.
Just kind of
blew it off.
dismissed it immediately.
Blew it off. I had complaints with all the physical allegations in it and all this, right? Something that you want to look into.
Yeah.
Nobody did nothing.
Yeah.
So, what do you think you're going to accomplish here today?
In regards to me being here?
Yeah, and trying to get them to take you more seriously.
Well, see, I can't even file a PO here, so I have to go somewhere completely different, and it's really frustrating when you're trying to get info and you feel as though you're kind of just being misled around and around and around. In your case, though, like, that just seems completely inappropriate, and it seems as though there might have been an exaggeration on the person that called against you.
Okay.
And in terms of him not taking it seriously at all, I just feel like that's the opposite of professional. Like, like, since you are the chief, you should be looking at every case as is with no bias at all. And I think that's where a lot of the police force, like, not even in Roseville specifically, but like every police force encounters some sort of bias. But it's in regards to how they can prevent their own bias from affecting someone else's life. And I think you have to have that balance, but if he's going to just disregard you completely, what are you to do from here on out? Like, who do you go to? It seems as though you need to go to his higher up. You shouldn't have to constantly go higher and higher and higher, because you're going to hit that wall eventually. And then there's just nothing for you to do at all. Just go, all right, this is, I guess, what happens. And that's it seems a lot more can be done, and a lot of it's not being done. A great example I have is if you're at work, say you're making pizzas, and you're just kind of cutting corners a little bit. Think about that. This is his job. He is going to take all of his annoyances, cut corners to make his day that much slightly better. But the problem is, he's here to serve people. He's not here to serve himself. He's not here to make pizzas. He's here to make sure the community itself is safe. And that goes for everybody, regardless if you're a felon, if anything at all. And I seem as though, it seems as though a lot of forces need to kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? They need to reform. And when I mean reform, I don't mean ban the police altogether. I mean there needs to be legitimate reform. I mean, they've been reforming our education system since the mid-'80s. And we haven't complained about it at all, but now it's getting to a point where it's 20, 30, 40 years down the line, and education is the foundation for everyone. And so it starts there. But I mean, what you're doing now, I think, is great, to at least go around, to talk to them about your experience, their experience, because the more we do this together, the more we create like a larger police. And that's what it is. It shouldn't be the people versus the police. It should be.
That's what it looked like.
That's what it definitely seems like when I go on Facebook. There's just so many instances where I get enraged because it's just not what I would do. I wanted to be a cop when I was really young, and I actually got in trouble with the police because I was at the wrong place at the wrong time. I was on probation for a whole entire year over a gram of marijuana that wasn't even mine. And it...
that's that crime bill.
I paid...
I just met a couple guys in there on some marijuana. It's just horrible.
It's ridiculous. It's getting to the point now to where something has to be done, but I think the only way that we can go forward is if we do this together. Because, like, the more instances that we have together to specifically call out specific people too, and we get those people out of office, that's how things will be more copacetic. It's not Republican versus Democrat at all. That's just creating that divide between all of us. If we come together, we all, whether you're from Nashville, Detroit, Chicago, we all want our life to be better. Even if you have someone that's really coarse, in general, we all support the same thing. We all want to better our lives. It's not going to better our lives if we have the police, which acts on a bias, and they just do kind of what they want to do because they have power. And that's kind of where I think we have to draw the line of they have to follow laws too. They're here to uphold the law, not enforce whatever law specifically they want to enforce at that time.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And they making it, and I'm gonna jump off of that educational aspect, and then I'm gonna jump off into the divide.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's huge right there.
Yes.
You
Yes,
know,
it is.
and I say this all the time. Hey, you want to do an interview next? You want to do an interview? Okay. I'm just trying to get everybody. No thanks. You know, they get comfortable. But to the education point, when I come and record these police officers, you know, that's what I do. I do police oversight.
You're legally allowed to.
Oh yeah, and I come look in all the vehicles and stuff. Sometimes, you ever watch First Amendment Auditors at all?
I want to say I have, but on offhand of knowing that specific name, I have to say no. But I've seen a lot of videos.
Okay.
Is there like a specific one?
Yep, I'm gonna leave you with my link and stuff when we go,
Fantastic.
and that way you can check it out and exactly what's going on. Like right now, I'm on a $50,000 bond for recording the police.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm dead serious.
Wait, why aren't you allowed to record the police? Like, were you like in their space, quote unquote?
No, and when you see it, it's like just like I told you, always record.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
that's powerful,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, it
And
is.
that's what created that $50,000 bond. It's me recording the police, right?
I'm sorry.
Just like you say, you want to go off of, and the same thing you want the officers to go off of, what's lawful,
Yep.
right? Not what's unlawful.
Exactly.
And that's exactly what I was doing. But you got the ones who got the money and the power
Yep. It's all. It's
with
all.
the say so and the control. And so what the judge did was he said stay a quarter mile away from these 4 cops who illegally arrested. Right?
So my
You'll
question
see
is,
that.
how do you know if they're a quarter mile within you?
Exactly.
Like,
Right?
you don't know who the officer is because 90% of the time they're not going to identify themselves.
Right. And even if I could identify them, you know, just through features.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know where they are.
Yeah.
And that was my thing with the broad orders, that it's so broad, I don't know. You basically kicking me out of the whole city.
That's,
Right?
yeah.
So I go back, and this was Warren, right? And I'm
Okay.
going to leave you my info so you can look into this stuff. But I want you to also look into Roseville and that whole incident, because what I do is I document every single time, like I tell you to.
Yeah.
Right? Every visit to come file complaints.
Yep.
Every visit to come do a FOIA request. You know about FOIA requests?
I know, I don't.
Okay. The camera right there.
Yep.
If something was to happen to you right now on this sidewalk,
Yep.
you can go in
Go
there
inside and go, oh, hey.
and fill out a FOIA request.
Yep.
So, you know, if you comment on my video or something, I'll make sure you know, understand all that type of stuff. But same thing over here. When they arrested me, took me out the courthouse, I pulled all the cameras from the parking lot.
Yep.
I pulled all the cameras from the booking area,
Yep.
all that. And then up YouTube, right, full transparency.
Yeah.
All my videos, full
You're
transparency.
legally allowed to. Yep.
Oh, yeah. And so...
No copyright against you yourself.
Oh yeah, and so the thing is, when I come around in the First Amendment order, it's basically just education on the First Amendment.
Yep.
Right? If you go get your gun and you go open carry,
Yep.
you kind of make it aware and get people to open carry and exercise that Second Amendment.
Yep.
What we doing, you know,
Yes.
all First
First
Amendment.
Amendment, yeah.
So even when it boils all the way down to something like speech, right? We can stand here and just have a regular conversation,
Yeah.
or we can cuss, we can do whatever we want to, and then take that approach. But you see, the thing is, when a cop witness something like that, they supposed to respect freedom of speech, right?
Yeah.
Freedom of press,
Yep.
freedom of expression.
I'm
I can
allowed
react however I want to. I didn't threaten nobody,
to. Exactly.
and so that's the issue that they have with me is when I come record, or I'll ask them for a name and badge number, or they'll say, "Hey, stop recording through the windows like we record here."
I mean, you're allowed to since
Yeah.
they have cameras inside their apartment.
Recording
It's
in
not
their
like
cars.
you're doing anything specifically
Exactly.
of harm, and that's it comes to the point to where they want to exercise their power because they're annoyed with you, so they're going to use their power
Oh, yeah.
to stop you from doing what you're doing because someone in there specific, not the police as a whole, someone specific
Oh, yeah.
doesn't like that.
Which
and
is a bad apple.
That's the thing. Like, they have the recordings on their chest, but I don't know if you clicked it.
Right.
I'm not a cop.
And those same recordings, like I said, it's a FOIA request.
Exactly, but what if
Videos
they didn't
from the
turn
car.
on their camera?
Exactly.
Because they want to act discreetly and do what they want to do without any sort of repercussion on them. That's the problem. There needs, just like you said, there needs to be accountability. There needs to be consequences for you doing things unlawful. I will get written up at work if I do something considered inappropriate or against my job description entirely. And after a certain point, I'm fired, and I'm not allowed to go back to the same company. Why doesn't that happen here? Because as far as I'm concerned, a cop, if they feel threatened, can shoot and kill you and go, what? I felt threatened. So it's now that cop's word against the person that's dead. And there's nothing that people really can do besides do this. And if people want to dissemble this in itself, conversations happen every day, regardless if there's a recording or mic.
Oh, yeah.
So you can't prevent this. It's going to just be a bunch of monkeys in a barrel that you're trying to hold contained while you're trying to do whatever you're trying to do. It's just better if you just uncontain the monkeys and let them do what they want to do. That's, they're trying to hold all of us within this barrel and within their rules and their guidelines, when in reality you're infringing upon our rights. I mean, I've seen people that are lawfully open carrying, and I've known them personally, and just because someone calls and they go there, they want to stop and frisk you immediately. You don't even know who I am.
Oh, yeah.
There's no consent to that search at all, and it's just heightened immediately, all because they're just exercising their Second Amendment right to open carry, which is legal in our state.
Oh, yeah.
And it's really unfortunate because, like, people are killed every single day by cops. It's just getting to a point to where, like, we've been seeing this for years. This didn't just come out of nowhere at all. I mean, our country in itself is based off of systemic racism, and the police were there to combat non-violent African Americans, and that whole I'm not able to speak as clear as I want to, but I think you understand. There needs to be changes in not only our Constitution, but how the police have that much power. How did it come to this point to where the police have that much power? And when you look at it, it's because our system is not only corrupt, but in regards, they just cut corners. It's all about the money. It's not about keeping you or I safe. To be honest, and it's horrible to say, there are some cops that, frankly, don't give a shit. I'm so sorry. They don't. They're there for the money. They're there to better themselves. They're not here to protect you or I. They're here to get their money, go home, sleep. But there needs to be some sort of passion in regards to bettering the community. That's why I'm not a cop. I don't want to be put in a situation to where I love to talk with people. Like, I don't want to be put in a situation to where I have to defend my brother in arms because he or she did something that wasn't allowed. And that's another problem, too, when you look at the videos in downtown Detroit with peaceful protesters. Like, Detroit has come together to a point where there has been almost no violence. Almost. There has been some, but it's people inciting the violence on purpose. But the police are just, it's getting to a point to where, like, I just am so disappointed with the police as a whole because I feel as though they're not doing their job. And if I was a cop, I know I would do a better job than 90% of those people on the force. And it's a shame, too, when I can play 1,000 hours on, like, a video game and I have more hours than it requires for someone to be a cop. All I need to do is go down to the police academy and do 360 hours approximately in their training and their program, and then I can be a cop. And then I'm allowed to carry a gun. I'm allowed to shoot someone if I feel threatened. There's no de-escalation tactics at all. There needs to be more training. There needs to be reform. When you have some sort of call that doesn't require violence, why are you sending a cop with a gun? Because that's going to just escalate the situation completely. There needs to be just people coming together and realizing this.
Now, you know, like you were saying, why send a cop with a gun? They're going to be armed, period. Right? We get that, but why send an uneducated, unprepared unready cop. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
If
They're
only the
scared.
accountability was there,
Yep.
you would have a lot less bad apples, right? Because they'd know what the punishment is.
Exactly.
And a lot of these cops, before they even swear in that oath and get hired in, they already know that it's a hostile environment within and that they're going to have to overcome a lot of different barriers.
Yep.
So before you even get to that point, already knowing that, you should be able to get in there and do just like what you said. I'd be better than 90% of them.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, what do you think you can do not being a cop, right? People hold the power. You're in a better position, right? Because you don't have to stand there in between and say, oh,
Exactly.
my partner did this and try to cover his ass, right?
Yep.
Their policy, their way of living within the departments are protect your own, no wrongdoing.
Yep.
That's clear. They can almost, in a lot of cases, and I never say a whole city is bad. I never say a whole department is bad.
Specific people.
But, oh yeah, and there's specific people. And that's why we got to do like you said, and we got to handle each person for who they are.
Individually.
Right?
Yep.
You either a piece of shit or you a good guy.
Yep.
Piece of shit or a good guy.
No.
Black or white.
Exactly. Thank you.
And I stress this a lot. Sure, we had the slavery, we had so many other different oppressions going on, but it wasn't all black people that put an end to that, right? It was also white people that put an end to slavery.
Yep.
And
people had to come together to say
Exactly.
this isn't acceptable at all, and that's what we need to do now. And people are trying to divide us based on their hold in office. And you asked me, what can I do as not being a cop? Exactly what you're doing right now, and vote. That is the most important thing. And I'm not talking about the general presidential election. I'm talking about for your chief. I'm talking about think small and then work outward. Because in regards to whether it's Trump that's going to be in office again, hopefully not, or even Biden, they're not going to affect Roseville as a whole as big as people like to think. But who is? State senators. You have people in office, the mayor, you have the police chief, all of these people.
there's the guy that assaulted me right there.
I'm so sorry about that.
Right there.
That's horrible. I just, what in regards to that
His name
situation?
is James Cinnamon.
James.
Remember that name and remember that face.
Cinnabon.
And he gave him a jaywalking ticket. How much was that ticket?
Okay, jaywalking ticket?
Yeah, he gave him a jaywalking ticket, him and his friends. How much was the ticket?
300.
How much?
300.
And how were you supposed to pay that? Are you still in school?
No, this happened while I was still in school.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. How are you supposed to go to school full-time in high school, and you probably only have a part-time job, and you're supposed to pay $300? That's going to be
For
at
jaywalking.
least one whole check for jaywalking, which people do every single day.
Oh yeah.
That's
And-
and see, that's the point. That is absolutely ridiculous. You're trying to just be a dick to be a dick, and that's the problem. Like, if you have a great example, if I call you a fuckhead and you hit me in the face, you're
I'm
the
in
one
trouble.
that did something illegal.
Exactly.
If a cop can't handle being called a fuckhead at the very worst case, which I doubt you even called him that, and he gives you a ticket for jaywalking, I'm sorry, but in my opinion, although you did lose, you won because you know his ego is being affected by your words, and that's something that needs to be trained. You like, if you go to war, you're not going to expect butterflies and rainbows. If you're a cop, don't expect butterflies and rainbows. People are going to call you names. You can't take that personally. But when you're going to stop somebody for jaywalking, Jesus Christ, come on. That's ridiculous. I hate that. What's the word I'm looking for? Just that power hunger that they crave to just make someone else feel like shit because they feel like shit. Projection. They project their anger onto somebody else because they themselves are angry. Angry people hurt people. But it's kind of like a high school situation where it's just more evolved. You have to deal with the bullies, and it's unfortunate where a lot of the bullies are people in power, are people that are a cop, people that hold office. I mean, it's just starting to get to a point to where you just have to avoid everybody, but that's not what we need. We need to come together. Like, it's a shame. I'm sorry you both went through that. Like, I feel sorry, although I'm not the one at cause. Like, I empathize with that. Like, I've had to deal with my own thing, and I had the privilege to be able to just go through it, pay my dues, and do that. But now I even try to avoid the police as much as I can, unless I feel like I am being threatened, and that's the point too. Like, I have my gun, but if I'm walking about and I don't want to shoot somebody, I'm gonna call the cops. That's their job. It's to de-escalate the situation. My job is to keep track of myself, be kind to others, do unto people as what I want people to do unto me too. I'm not gonna be a dick and then expect people to be nice to me. Exactly. That's the thing. People just obscure their own thoughts and project their own, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, they're just, all of the qualities that they hate in people and what they hate about themselves comes out when they treat people the way they treat people. And it's unfortunate. There needs to be change. The only thing that we can do as a collective is vote. And that in itself is only going to do so much too, because if you only have one police chief running, who's going to run against that? I've never been a cop in my life. Can I run and be police chief? No. So now if you're only going to take people that are cops that can be a police chief, how many people are going to run against him if he's promising all these great things under the table? We don't know that. The only thing we can do is talk as a collective, and if that is being infringed upon, I mean, that's just wrong.
Oh yeah. And now I'm big on action.
Yes.
Right? So we dialoguing, that is important.
Yes.
Because you never know. From that dialogue, I can possibly encourage you to go do something, right?
Yeah, of course.
So what can you do, let's say within the next month, right? Can you go to like a city hall meeting or something like that, and then I say, hey, I'm going to expect, what's your name again?
Evan.
I know, Evan. I almost said Kevin. Evan. I can expect Evan at a city council meeting. Is that a type of promise you can make to get out there and let your voice be heard?
I would love to. It just, and with my particular cause, it's just hard because I've never had to do stuff like that before. And I'm only 23 years old, and some people are going to be, oh, you're 23, you're old enough to know this. I'm living my life. I don't know what to do, just like everybody else. I don't know what to do at all. But in regards to that, I definitely think that there needs to be me at least letting my voice be heard. I could for certain guarantee that I could go down, as long as it works with my work schedule too, because that's another problem. Like, everybody has these schedules. Everybody's doing their own thing. People work. People have loved ones to take care of during COVID. And it's unfortunate that even if I was to go, I don't think my voice is really going to be heard. How many people go down to City Hall and actually feel like they were heard? I guarantee you it's under 50%. Unless you're in a really good neighborhood, that's...
Now this is the thing. I get where you're coming from, and I feel the reasons why you might feel discouraged from even doing it, right?
Yep.
I'm not going to be heard. I went and did the same thing. And I had that same feeling. Okay, well, I'm going to this was after a big encounter, right, out there in Warren. And one of the city council members went to talk down on me about that encounter, where they was trying to violate me, and I just dogged them out totally, on the speech tip, right?
Yeah.
Called them fucking idiots and all this and that. Told them to get the hell out of here and go get some proper training. Stuff like that, and just dogged them. And then I had a sitting city council member, Eddie Kawasinski. You might have seen him on the last few days. He ended up handcuffing somebody allegedly at a protest. And this is a city council member.
He has no power to do that.
Right. And so,
citizens arrest, but I don't think you can just pull out handcuffs and arrest somebody in that case. And I guarantee you he's not going to be heard at all. He's going to go, I did the community a better thing.
Oh, yeah. And so what I say is every voice is heard, right? Yeah. That's why we came over here to interview you, because now your voice is heard live.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And every voice matters, so you got to remember that. And you may think it's small, you may think it don't matter. It matters, right?
It impacts people.
So that's my thing. I want to try to interact with people and get them to commit to something, whether it's going to do a speech or going to dialogue with somebody else, right? And make
Going
sure
to
you
a rally
record it. And that's
and
the whole
protest.
point, you know.
Yep.
Hey, I said, man, look, man, I really stuck to this. You know what I'm saying? And then I'll be like, damn, man, that guy right there. You know what I'm saying? And you showing action.
Yep.
And that's what it is. It's just a follow up. Hey, man, what did you do last month?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And not even for me. Let me correct myself. For the people.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? This ain't for me.
Yeah.
They
For
listen.
everybody.
Yeah. The people listen. You
Yep.
see what I'm saying? Your voice being heard right now, and I'm sure they comment. They dropping comments and stuff, and your voice being heard right now, right outside your own police department.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? And that's huge.
You have a very good point there.
Oh yeah, that's huge. And so if you can't do a speech, because I hear that a lot, you know, schedule.
See, it's
And I wear
speech
my-
comes down to
yeah.
being afraid to talk
Oh,
in
yeah.
front of people.
Oh, yeah.
But I
Yeah,
love
I
to
get it.
talk.
Uh-huh.
I think if we could do this as like a big crowd of people and we just
Oh,
come
yeah.
together as a whole, and we also, and that's the thing, we don't exclude people, we include people, and that includes people from the police that we may not like, because we
Exactly.
don't know. They might hear what we're saying and go, they have a point.
Exactly.
That you have a very good argument there. I definitely you're making me want to take action,
Well,
and that's what's good.
You can commit to this one, right? And this will really call you out. Record the next traffic stop you see. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you know, you can contact me. I'll give you my information or whatever you need. But maybe you'll end up being one of those guys that'll be across the street, record and catch the truth for somebody that may not be as educated or alert, right? To record for themselves. You, that guy who spoke to me and who knows now that recording across the street can save somebody's life.
Absolutely.
Right? I done ran up on plenty of traffic stops. Didn't even have to interfere with these guys at all. Don't have to say a word to them. But you capturing the truth.
Yep.
And a lot of the times I done ran up and he done witnessed this, and the cops will hurry up and scurry off. And then I'll go to talk to the guys that they pull over. Hey man, he was getting ready to search my trunk. I'm glad you showed up.
That's good.
You see, and some of them will actually hurry up and run off because they know the power of proof.
Yep.
And that's all that is.
Yep.
That's to protect you, me, and everybody else that's in front of that.
Absolutely.
So, what I say, if you can't record your next one, record for somebody. You see what I'm saying? And always record for yourself.
I for sure.
You think you can
do
commit to that?
Absolutely, yeah. I've already recorded. There was an accident off of 13 in Utica. Someone ran into a pole, and I recorded that whole interaction. Even though it looked like he was at fault, I wanted to make sure he wasn't going to be mishandled at all. He wasn't going to be abused. I don't like to see people be abused for no reason at all. Just because they made a mistake doesn't mean they deserve to be punished than what they should be punished for. You're not the judge, jury, and executioner. You're there to uphold the law. You're there to go, all right, you made a mistake. We realize that. We're going to take you in for questioning. Nowhere in there doesn't include, I'm going to beat you, I'm going to throw you up against a car, and I'm going to make you feel like a piece of shit because I'm going to project that onto you because I think you're a piece of shit. That needs to change. So I definitely can, from the bottom of my heart, say I will record the next interaction that I see involving any sort of cop at law and anyone. I don't care who they are. That they deserve it because they don't know if that cop is recording at all, and like you said, it can save them.
Oh yeah, definitely. I definitely agree. So I'm gonna take you up on that. Keep me in contact. Thank you for the interview.
Great meeting you, sir.
Ossie, I'm Sleep, J Money. We out here getting it done, my man. You can go ahead and cut it, Malik.
Do you have a card?
Yep, I'm gonna get you my info right now.
Fantastic.